I'm sick, so if I start coughing, just bear with me. And I'm going to stand because I can't sit and talk or I'll start fidgeting, so I'm going to stand up because that's easier. Okay. So, I'm going to start with a question. So, does everybody think that the person next to them, that they have something that they have a conflicting feeling about? Regarding anything. Like, do you think you have a different opinion from somebody? Raise your hand. So everyone. Okay. So basically everyone. So humans have different opinions about the smallest things. And in my presentation, I want to talk about the duality of opinions in YA dystopian novels, especially regarding whether a character believes that their society is a utopia or a dystopian society. And especially what the protagonist believes. So why is there such a duality in opinion, and what causes these characters to have these opinions? So first, I also want to clear something up, that I'm not saying that all dystopias evolve from a utopia, even though that's sometimes possible. That's like not what this is about. Just to clarify. Okay. So regarding the protagonist, there are two main ways that they can gain their opinions regarding their society. In every young adult novel that I have read, the protagonist always thinks that their society is a dystopia, which causes the whole plot to happen in the first place. But the two ways that this can be created is either how they were raised, which that they were taught to believe that their society is a certain way growing up, either by their parents or that there's a social norm, and then something happens in the plot that causes their opinions to change. And the second is that they have always felt strongly against their society, and then something happens that causes them to actually react. So the two examples that I want to use to explain these two ideas is my independent reading book, Delirium, and The Hunger Games. So first, a background on Delirium. In this trilogy, love is considered a disease, and when you turn 18, you are cured, and your family, spouse, occupation, number of kids, and your whole life is automatically decided for you. You are not allowed to show any affection towards anyone, even your spouse. Except for like being married, but like, you know what I mean. So your emotion is your enemy, and your life is exactly the way society wants it to be. So Lena is the protagonist, and her date to be cured is approaching. And she believes that her society is perfect. Like, she loves it, she grew up believing that it was correct, and she's excited to be cured. She wants her life decided for her, and she wants to be an adult and begin the next stage of her life. Until she meets Alex, who of course is the tall, dark, and handsome, pretty boy that just shows up. I mean, wow, shock. There's a love story. So Lena meets Alex, and he starts flirting with her, even though he says that he is cured, but she's like, wait, what the heck, like, you're cured, what are you doing? He like winks at her, and she's like, no, like, go away, this isn't allowed. So she tries to ignore him, and of course he can't, and he confesses that he isn't cured, and she tries to run away, but of course she can't because he's beautiful, and even though it's illegal, so then once she realizes the love isn't really that bad, she starts to rebel to be with her one true love, Alex. So of course the regulators, whose purpose in the society is exactly what you would think, immediately try to change Lena's curing date to be sooner so that all of this can stop. Because they want to control her because she's acting crazy. So I don't want to spoil the ending, but you can probably guess that yes, Alex comes to save her, and they run away together to the outside of the city limits called the Wilds, and then something happens that changes everything up, and she has to figure out how to live when her whole society is completely different than how she grew up. So that's basically that. So how does this relate to anything that I'm talking about? So Lena grew up believing that her society is completely correct. She supported her views and even got mad at her best friend Hannah when she found out that she was going to parties with guys and hanging out, and even though that was like completely not allowed, she like got super mad at her best friend. And because of her upbringing, social norms, and the original opinion of what human nature should be, she believes that her life is a utopia and great in her eyes. Until she meets Alex, who brings her to the dark side, that her opinions change, and she believes her society is wrong. Once she understands that love really isn't a belief, she begins to rebel against the regulators. So how she changes her opinion about her entire life is based off of one person, one moment, meeting Alex. So I know this isn't a story today, or this is a story, but in our lives today, something or someone can change at any moment, and your whole perspective on everything can be changed. So I think that's super interesting that even though these are like fictional stories, that they can bring in like real aspects of behaviorism into these characters to show that like real life actually happens and things can change. So the Hunger Games represents the other example, that the protagonist can feel strongly against her society her whole life, and then one event can immediately cause her to react. So this is shown in Katniss, who wants to run away with Gale and live in the woods because she hates her society, hates everything, and especially the Hunger Games. And this isn't until her little sister Brim gets chosen in the Reaping, where she volunteers as tribute, which ironically puts her in the situation of the Hunger Games that she absolutely hates. So because she hates this so much, of course she's going to act like she hates it, which makes the Capitol very upset. So throughout the games, her rebellious attitude towards the competition eventually causes her fame to increase between the people of the Capitol and makes her a popular tribute, causing the Capitol to hate her confident and rebellious nature, making her an enemy. So why does any of this matter? Honestly, it is just the way the story is written. It's to make the plot, but for me, I think it's interesting. How social influences can change someone's opinion of their whole life in society, and how they can go with agreeing to their government that their society is great to changing it in a complete instant based on one event. So the protagonist is always the one who either turns or believes their society is a dystopia and wants to make a change. They seek the freedom for themselves and want to give the same freedom to everybody else, whether they're like Lena, where she wants everyone to know that love really isn't a disease, or Katniss, who wants to change her whole society because the Hunger Games are just wrong. So the duality and comparison of these opinions and how they change is a theme shown in all dystopian novels in either one of these two ways. So human nature has a big effect on us, and social standards have a bigger impact on us than we think, especially the protagonist. So questions to just think about. So how can people have such different beliefs? I know that it's their social upbringing, but why do you think so? And is it all just for a story? Is it just oh, I'm just gonna make this happen, or is there logic? Does the author think about it? And is this prevalent to our society today? And some people just aren't speaking up. So what do you think?